Just a minute, I'm sharing the PPT for recruitment and selection. Are you able to see?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell me what you understand by recruitment, or you must be wondering why is recruitment and selection given as different terminologies, right?
Hiring the right person.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else?
Hiring of skilled candidate.
Shortlisting the candidate and then selecting the right suitable person.
Okay. Shobna?
Even this, I would say the same thing, hiring the candidate.
See, actually, we use recruitment as the same word as selection and hiring and everything, right? But these terms have different meanings in HR. Okay, recruitment has different meaning, selection has different meaning, and hiring has a different meaning. Okay, that is why we have given recruitment and selection. So these are two different functions altogether. So there are different departments segregated for these two functions. Okay, so when you say recruitment from this session on, okay, please do not say recruitment means hiring, recruitment means selection, okay, because these are different functions. Now as HRs, you will have different understanding about these terminologies, right? Okay. So what is the process of recruitment and selection? Okay. Now the first process is preparing. Okay. We prepare. Then second is sourcing. Okay. We start sourcing. Then we do the screening. Fourth is we do the selection. Then we do the hiring. Okay. And then we do the onboarding. So can you see these terms are used as different functions in recruitment and selection, right? So the work is different. Fine. Now when we say preparing, we mean the process of planning. Okay. Now how do we come to a conclusion that we need to start the recruitment and selection process, right? Either somebody leaves the organization, we'll have to start the replacement process. That means the recruitment process all over again, right? Or as we said, we learned about it in the manpower planning and budgeting. If we have new hires to be done, right? If we need new resources in the department, then we will start the process of recruitment and selection. Okay, either replacement due to any reason, resignations, terminations, death of an employee, whatever reasons, we do a replacement. Okay, and new positions, new hiring is the roles that are new roles that are identified for any department. So these two cases, we start the recruitment and selection process. Okay. Then what does the planning involve? What does the planning process or the preparation process involve? it involves identification. So identification is which type of resource, that means the position, which designation, okay, at which level, okay, level, is it a junior level, is it a mid level, or it's a senior level, okay. Then what are the salary details for that position? What salary are we going to offer to this role? It's not to any person, it is to the role, okay. And how many positions do we have to do the recruitment and selection process for? Then we have to do the job analysis, and job description needs to be prepared. So job analysis is nothing but trying to analyze all these things only, like how many in number, what salary, okay, what are the skills that is required for this role. So all these details will be included in job analysis. And job description will have in detail what is the kind of function, what is the kind of work that this particular resource is supposed to do. So I will give you the definition in detail at the end of this slide, okay, for job analysis and job description. Okay. Okay. Now, after preparation, we move into sourcing. Okay. What is sourcing? The various methods that we use to attract applicants for a particular role is called sourcing. Now, there is a particular position open in the company. Okay. The business tells you that this is the role. That means, suppose you are hiring for an accounts manager. They say we are supposed to hire for an accounts manager. We need candidates. We need a particular resource. Now, how do you search for such resource? Where will you find them? How will you find them? Tell me. If you have a certain position open in your company, okay, and then how do you start looking for that person?
They post information in some job portals like Naukri.com and all.
Okay, right. So first we need to attract applicants, right? Now we cannot go on telling anybody who may not be suitable for a job to apply, can we? We cannot. So what we'll have to do, we'll have to attract certain employees. I mean, you'll have to attract talent from the market. So how are you going to attract talent from the market? How are you going to make them aware that your company has this particular position open? Okay, how are you going to tell them? Through advertisements, through your own employees, through job portals, okay? And so these are various methods. Now, what is job portals? Like Suman rightly said, job portals are nothing but Naukri.com, Monster.com, Indeed, right? We have job placements. We have so many job portals in the internet available today, right? So those different options are called job portals. Next one is employee referrals. Now, when you're asking your own employees to refer their friends and relatives or acquaintances for a particular position, it is called employee referrals. So most of the companies, they even reward their employees, current employees, for referring a new resource in the company. Okay, are you aware of that? Okay. Some companies, what they do is, so why should anybody, see, the world functions that way, especially in the cities, right? In big companies, why they will ask you, okay, if I refer you a candidate, what is there in it for me? Right? Why should I go hunting for people for you, for the company? What will I get? So there is a monetary benefit that is linked to this referral. So if the person refers his friend or any acquaintance for a particular role, then they will get certain amount of money, maybe 5,000, 10,000, depending on the role, okay, the seniority of the level. And if the person stays for more than 3 months, then the current employee will get the monetary benefit. Okay, so that is called employee referral. So the current employees refer their known people to the company, and of course they will have to go through the same interview and screening process. Only if they go through this interview and screening process, in the fair manner, and like if the company is satisfied with their skills and with their knowledge, only then, if they qualify, only then the company takes them. Okay, so the process is normal, only that this is one of the method to attract the applicants. Okay, the other is media ads. Like in newspapers also we give ads, right, for bulk hiring, especially if you have requirement of 20-30 people, then what do? The best method is to give it in newspaper, TV, radio. Okay, and social media platforms, of course, you would have heard of LinkedIn. All of you are there in LinkedIn? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. LinkedIn, Facebook, and other social media platforms, Twitter. Okay, these are the major sources of hiring people these days. Okay, again, it depends on the profile. So for BPO, if you want to hire for youngsters, creative profiles like digital marketing, graphic designers, you might find them in Facebook. But you will not find engineers and doctors and some specialized skills you will not find in Facebook. You might find it in LinkedIn. Okay, so it again depends on the kind of profiles, but yes, social media platforms is also a very good platform for hiring or attracting talent. Okay, IJP is internal job postings. So internal job postings is you set an advertisement within the company. Okay, you tell them that we have this position open in this location. If anybody meets the eligibility criteria, then they can apply. Okay, suppose I am living in Siliguri, but I'm a permanent resident of Bangalore, and I want to move to Bangalore, and the company has its branch in Bangalore, has a position which is suitable to my work, then I can apply for a transfer through IJP. So that is also one of the method of filling positions. Okay, it could be from the same city, the same branch, but a different role. Maybe I'm an MBA HR, but I'm doing the work of something else. Maybe I'm doing some work in ops, but now I want to go back to my own profile. Then if the company has a role suitable for my education level and my skills, then I can definitely apply. Okay, so within the company itself, the employees are rotated so that the positions can be filled by the right person. Again, of course, they will have to go through the proper screening methods like interview process and whatever process we have set. Okay, they'll have to go through all of that. Okay, recruitment database. Now, what is recruitment database? See, sometimes when we float our requirement in the market, there'll be a lot of people who are applying for that particular role, and they might not be relevant at that moment. Okay, suppose I have posted a job for software developer, but I'm even getting applications for a tester. Then what do? I keep saving those profiles. Maybe in the future, if I have such a requirement, then I will call these people. So I'm building a database. So I do not reject any CV. I do not forsake, or I do not ignore any application that comes my way to my mailbox. I just download them and I save it. That is called recruitment database. So we'll have to be very organized here. We will make different folders for different roles, and we will keep saving CVs in that. Okay, that is how we build database. Okay, and recruiter networks. There are a lot of HR recruiter networks in the market these days, especially after the lockdown. Okay, so you will contact your HR networks and check with them if they have any references. Okay, so I'm a part of a huge recruiter network, or you can say HR network, which is HR Federation of India. So they have different platforms in which they advertise about the jobs, they advertise about, they talk about the HR topics, what is the most ongoing topic, the heated topic in HR, how do we deal with certain situations. So there are different boards like that. In Facebook also you will find. Okay, so you can post your requirement there and you will definitely get help. Fine. So these are different methods in which we can attract talent from the market for the open positions. Okay. You have any questions till here? No? Okay. Screening process. So after we do the sourcing, so the first part was planning, right? Preparing as to which role and at what level. what is the salary, and preparing the job description, what is the work that this person is going to do. Then we advertise to attract talent, and then after we get the CVs, after we get the people to apply to our job, then we start screening the CVs, right? We start screening. So what are the different methods in which that will help us to screen the candidates or the applicants? First is skills testing. Skill testing, maybe like, if I am hiring people for data entry, I would want to do a speed test, right? So skill testing, and then suppose probably I'm hiring people for accounts, then I would want to test that person for Tally. So I ask them to come to my office, give them a system and say, okay, can you show me how efficient you are in working on this particular ERP or maybe this software. Okay, so that is skill testing. Okay, another is general resume screening that we do. We screen the resume, we match with whatever requirement we have. We check if their profile and their experience matches our requirement, right? So that is resume screening. Cover letters for bulk requirements. If we have a lot of CVs to screen through, then cover letters. Have you heard of cover letter?
Yes.
Yeah, so it gives a brief about the person's experience and education level, right? So that is also one method of screening profiles. Applicant tracking system. Applicant tracking system is again, you'll find it in Naukri only. Okay, through job portals, you can see how many people like related to their skills. Okay, they will apply. Even in LinkedIn, we have this applicant tracking system wherein only the person who meets the criteria, only those CVs get downloaded. Okay, so that is an applicant tracking system. Reference checking. Now you would have received application for certain position, then you ask the reference of the HR or the senior manager and call them and check, I have received an application of this person. How was this person? Is there any problem with this person during work? Any disciplinary issue? Okay, any promotions that you received? So you do a reference check. Fine, you do a background check. And that has become a very, very necessary thing these days. So all companies do the reference check or background check. Okay, it's called BVG. So background verification, BVC check, background verification check. Okay. And another checking online. So you can, these days, even people ask for your LinkedIn profile. Have you noticed? So when you apply for a job, they ask, please share your LinkedIn profile. So they want to check you online. So what is your profile, where you worked earlier, and if there is anything fishy. So this is the kind of intensive search that employers do these days to get the best talent. So they even go to the Facebook profile. These days they have this lock your profile option, so there's not much of information that we can get, but yeah, people, they used to do that. They used to check Facebook profiles. LinkedIn profiles are open, okay, but Facebook profiles are not available much these days. Okay, and paid trial projects. So for certain positions, like if I hire a certain HR to do implement a project in my company, then I would want to give him or her a certain amount of money and ask him to do a paid trial project. And then once they submit their conclusions, their study, then I will say, okay, fine, you've done a fair job. Now I'm going to hire you. So that is a paid trial project. Okay, then phone interviews and video interviews is what we are resorting to these days because of COVID, right? So these are the normal ways of interviewing. Okay, so these are certain screening processes that we use these days. If you can think of anything else, I'm not too sure if anybody uses anything else. Okay, selecting the right candidate. Through any of the screening methods mentioned above, we can select the right candidate for the job. We may not find the exact match, but the closest match depending on the skill set and past job experience. So it is impossible to find the exact match for any role. Okay, So what we do is we then suggest for the closest match depending on the skill set and the experience and the education level to the management. Okay, so do not go on wasting your time in trying to find the exact match for a particular role. You will never get it. Okay, we of course have to try. If we get it, then well and good, but please do not waste your time in going on searching. So the max that you can work on any profile is for 1 week, not more than that. Okay. So now we come to the hiring process. When do we hire? Once we attract, we plan, first we plan, right? Then what we do? You attract talent, right? That is sourcing. And then we do the screening. Okay, after the screening is done, you've gone through the resumes, you've done the interviews, then what do? You plan to hire the candidate. Okay. Out of 10 people that you have interviewed for one particular role, you then decide on one person, the best suitable person, and then you give out the offer letter. You negotiate. This is the salary we can offer. This is your salary expectation. Can we come to a negotiation point? So always remember, we will have to, even if our budget is higher, we will have to make sure we will try to place somebody or hire somebody in a budget within the budget that is less than the budget. We cannot exceed the budget. Okay, so we do offer negotiation, we generate the offer, collect all the documents relevant, that means ID proof, the experience that they have showed in the resume. Okay, we'll have to collect all the experience related letters, and we'll have to do the background verification. Okay, only after submission of all that, the person should be allowed to join the company. Fine, so understood the meaning of hiring now?
Yes.
When we reach the point of offering the candidate, then we say we are hiring the candidate. Okay. After hiring, he or she has accepted the offer, offer negotiation is done, whatever we've offered, he's accepted, then we will ask him to join on a particular date. Okay, that is, we are asking him to onboard. You come on board to the company. So the day he joins the company will be his date of onboarding. Okay, so on the day of onboarding, we will give him the appointment letter and whatever forms, depending on the company, the forms and formats that we have, and filling up the personal details. If you have PF facilities, PF gratuities, so a lot of statutory compliance forms also come along with the joining formalities. So all these are to be filled during the first day, during the joining or onboarding of the new employee. Okay. And during onboarding, what else do? You ask them to fill the forms, collect all the documents, and then what do? You also introduce them to the company, right? So we do the company orientation and the induction program. So what is company orientation and induction? It is mainly telling them about the company, okay, telling them about the different departments, introducing the new employee to the company. Okay, and then you do the induction program. That means you tell him what his role is going to be, who is going to be the reporting manager. Okay, so all these details will be given on the first day. We do the welcoming of the candidate. We do some, it depends from company to company, because onboarding process is the most important function of the HR. Okay, if the onboarding is done well, then the employee is expected to stay for a longer period of time in the company. Okay, most of the people, they leave the company between 6 months, within 6 months. Okay, if this onboarding, the welcoming thing that we are doing, if that is not done well, then they leave within 6 months. If you just leave them just like that, they come, they keep sitting in their chair, they don't know whom to talk to, they don't know what to do on the first day, they feel lost, they are not guided properly, then within 6 months that person will leave and go. But we'll have to make sure that we plan their induction and onboarding in a very structured, professional way, because we are telling them about the company, right? So we are showing them what is this company all about. So if you do not treat them well on the first day, they will run away. Okay, so that is why companies like IBM, they are hiring onboarding specialists just to onboard new joinees. So they're hiring people like that.
Mhm.
Because there's so much competition in the market. People leave companies for the slightest of reasons. And then you'll have to start the hiring, recruitment and selection process all over again, do the budgeting thing all over again, right? There's so much work involved. Right, so that is why companies are focusing a lot on the onboarding process. They want to make this onboarding experience as good as possible. Okay. So yeah, I told you about the job analysis and job description, right? So when do we do job analysis? We do it in the planning stage itself, preparation and planning stage. Okay, so job analysis is the process of gathering and analyzing information about the content and the human requirements of jobs, as well as the context in which jobs are performed. So job analysis, again, the number of people, what salary, at what level, what is the role going to be. So when you do all that analysis about a particular role, it is called job analysis. Okay, and what is job description? Job description is when you detail out what is going to be the main responsibilities and duties of that particular role. It is called a job description. Now, when I get a requirement from any company, okay, suppose I have a requirement for a medical coordinator, I first ask for the job description. That means I ask the company to tell me what is the education level that they want. Okay, I ask them what is the salary that you're ready to pay, what is the range. I ask them what is it that you're expecting out of this particular role. Okay, what do you want this person to do for you? So when all these details are listed out, okay, it needs to be described. So that is why job description. Okay, that all needs to be given to us. Only then we start attracting talent from the market, sourcing. Okay, so without job description, without understanding what the role is going to be all about, it is very difficult to start the sourcing part. Okay, so job description is very, very important. It also defines what qualification, what skills. Suppose, for a coordinator job, medical coordinator, somebody needs to be good in communication. Somebody needs to know languages like for Siliguri. What languages would we require? We would require Hindi, Bengali, Nepali, and English is a plus point. Okay, fluent English is a plus point. Okay, so all these things. What education level? Because they need to understand the you might say the back end job that they have to do. So if a graduate, then that is preferable. Masters also can be taken, but if that person is accommodated in the salary bracket. Okay, so I'm just giving you an example. So all these details have to be listed out very clearly. Fine. So this is the process of recruitment and selection. Here, see, I used to work with a company in Bangalore. So the name of the company is, it was my client. Okay, so they were hiring a purchase engineer. The designation, the name of the company was Carl Beckham Lubricants, and the qualification, MSc Chemistry with good academic records, professional experience of 4 to 5 years, exposure in purchase from chemical industry, and age. See, some we also define the age, some also define the gender. Okay, so this is a job description. So I've just taken a screenshot and pasted in the PPT to show you what a job description looks like. Okay, so this is another example. See. Okay, so we've come towards the end of this slide. Any questions? No. Okay, that means everything I explained is clear to you. How are you guys enjoying this session?
Yes, ma'am.
You're enjoying, you're finding it useful?
Yes, ma'am.
Useful and interesting.
Also,
It
right,
is interesting actually.
yes. So this
But
also,
sometimes we are like, I mean,
sorry, I didn't get that.
no, I mean like we are enjoying this session. That's why we don't have any questions, I think.
Okay. Okay. And yeah, once you start getting into it, no, like once you start practicing yourself, like when you join some company and start doing the work yourself, then you'll be able to relate and then you'll have questions. Now it's something very new to you. So everything is like informative, right? You're gathering information. But once you start practicing on field and doing it on job, then you might have questions. But the whole session is,
Ma'am, I have one question actually. So
yeah.
now we three of us, we are new to this field. So if we are, if we are applying somewhere as an HR position, as an HR executive or whatever it is, so won't be that a problem that, won't they say that this guy or, this candidate doesn't, she doesn't have any experience on this, or like something like that. So that won't be of any problem. Like how will we tackle this as a fresher?
Yeah. See, so as I told you, we've been talking about different roles and levels, right? So this is a new domain for you, you will have to enter as a fresher. Now, when we say fresher, in any domain you see, even in accounts, in graphic designing, we have certain animation, education institutes. We have so many other things where everybody enters a different field in the level of a fresher, right? So for you guys also, you will have to enter the field of an HR as a fresher. And obviously, companies will take you keeping this in mind that you are a fresher, but you will have to tell them that I have knowledge about these things, because this is not MBA. Okay, I have done my MBA and I know the difference. Why I have devised this training program is because I know how lost we feel when we join any corporate office as an HR. All that we have to do is get into recruitment and then start understanding how corporates work and what are other functions of HR. But here I am teaching you everything that you need to know when you start your work in a corporate office, which MBA will not teach you. Okay, so I'm making you guys ready for a company to start working. And if you want to join companies in HR, you will never find a department, believe me. You will have to function solely. You won't find anybody to guide you, okay? But they are ready to take people who are graduates, who are non-MBAs, but who can deliver the work of an HR. Okay, so keeping in mind the demand of the market in Siliguri, okay, and also like I have been working with companies like Accenture and IBM in Bangalore. I have tied up with a MNC, it's a consultancy you can say, okay, because in our language we understand that better. You've heard of Manpower Services? So I'm tied up with Manpower Services, working for Accenture in IBM, and these guys are also not looking for MBA HRs. They're looking for graduates who have knowledge working in HR. Okay, so everybody does not start their work as an HR after MBA. I myself was placed in HP without MBA. So when I was working with HP as an HR, I was not an MBA. I was just a graduate. Okay, so it all depends on your knowledge. I'm telling you, you can build your credibility only with your work, not with the degree. And if this certificate will help you to prove to them that, see, I do have knowledge. Okay, and if given a chance, I can prove it to you. So that is why I say keep asking questions. If you want to do learning, extra learning, you go to Google, check things, and come and ask me. I will be more than happy to help you, because my motive is not only to earn money. Okay, my motive is to help our local people who are present in Siliguri and Darjeeling, nearby areas, because a lot of us aspire to be an HR, right? So I just want to help people who want to enter the field of HR in a proper way. I want to act as a guide, as a guidance, you can say. Okay, so if you can do some extra study and ask me questions also, I have no problem. We can answer them during the sessions that even others come to know about it. Okay, and see, whatever clients that I'm working with, I've told you guys, I will recommend you to them. Okay, if they are willing to give you a chance, then nothing like it. Sit for the interview. And right now we are doing remote work also. So for companies in Bangalore also, if I can place you, if you want to work remotely, then that also I can do. Okay, so you can sit for the interviews, just enter field in HR, and then you can explore your way. Okay, that is my suggestion. Don't just keep waiting for, okay, this is what I want to do in HR. This is the role that I want. Whenever you get a chance to enter the field of HR, maybe as an HR business partner or recruitment or as client relationship, do it. Then you can surf your way through, like whichever area of interest you have in HR, then you can just surf your way through. Right, you will get maximum support from my end. You don't have to worry. If I have projects with my company also, I will extend it to you so that you have your knowledge is updated. Okay.
So, ma'am, like I'll just ask you just one question. Like right after, if I gain experience in this HR, so is it possible, if I can opt for MBA further?
Yeah, you can do MBA.
Like if I can do it,
Yeah, you can definitely do it.
is it useful then?
Yes, you can do MBA. See, this course is, it does not collide or coincide with any degree. Okay, MBA is a professional course. This certification course is help you perform your duties when you join as an HR in any company. Just give me a minute. So this does not, coincide with any degree. MBA is definitely something that you can look forward to. It helps you build businesses, business models. It gives you a lot of confidence. It gives you a lot of confidence while addressing crowd, because as an HR in any company, you are always, put on the stage in the forefront to address the employees. Wherever you go, you'll have to go and talk. You'll have to be very confident, and MBA gives you that confidence, believe me. And presentations, you make presentations, you make business models. Okay, MBA gives you a very good exposure. There's no comparison between what MBA does and what we are doing in this course. So as I told you, MBA is a professional degree that you have that companies look for. They say minimum qualification is MBA, whereas the course that I am, that you are going through right now is to help you with your work when you join any corporate office, so that you don't get lost, you don't feel lost. You have knowledge. No, in MBA, they are not going to teach you what a salary structure is. In MBA, they're not going to tell you what is the stages of recruitment and what is the difference. Okay, they're not going to tell you how do you do manpower planning and budgeting. They will not teach you. Right. So this is just a company exposure that I'm giving you. And I want you to be placed that way, build your credibility, get into strategic HR. Don't, confide yourself in administrative roles. Okay, we have a very small industry in HR in this area. So if there are small companies also, but in only retails have a huge presence here. But small companies, they don't have much of HR department also. So it all depends. That's what I'm saying. It depends on you, how you place yourself in the market. Okay. It's just knowledge. So keep upgrading yourself, keep reading. Even after the session, if you can follow it up with some Google, this thing, reading and all, if you can do, like we did manpower planning and budgeting right now. So you can just Google more about it.